Hello guys, my name is Rizky and you're watching a Creative Art channel. It has been 3 years since I started a Creative Art, and throughout the years we have been really blessed that we have completed around 300 projects. Although we have expanded to do video productions, content creations, a bit of advertising, events photography is still our bread and butter. I just want to share how I shoot events, and hopefully this video may be useful for some of the younger creatives who are thinking of going to this line. And just to give a peek to some of our clients, a bit of a behind the scenes on how we actually shoot some of your fantastic events. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is of course gears. I don't use the latest and greatest gear. I never buy to the trend whereby every time a new gear is out and you gotta upgrade. My main camera, or should I say cameras, is still my trusted A7R II. I have 3 notes of them depending on the events, but if it's like a standard dinner and dance or corporate events that we always shoot, I will always bring at least 2 of this. I never like to change lens during the shoot, so what I always do is to simply have 2 bodies whereby I can put 2 different lenses on it and I can just use them concurrently. And these 2 bodies also serve as a backup to each other. And if I have a really long shoot, an example, let's say I have a 2 days back to back, or I have an outdoor shoot under the sunlight, I will bring 3 bodies with me. I actually had a pretty nerve-wracking experience in the past whereby I was actually taking shots of award presentations, and the person who gave the awards actually one of a really well-known celebrity. There were one time whereby this person actually giving out the awards to the winner. The cameras that I used to take the shots suddenly stopped working. For some reason the cameras just jammed. It doesn't allow me to take any shots. I was panicking for a moment, but I quickly mentioned to the person, give me 2 seconds, and I quickly swapped the lenses on both of my cameras and I used my second camera to actually take the shots. And this is the main reason why I always bring at least 2 cameras for the shoot. One camera is actually for my wide shots, whereby I will mount a wide lens on this. I'm currently using the standard Sony Zeiss 16-35, while on my second camera I mount a portrait lens. My favorite lens at the moment is actually this 90mm G lens from Sony, whereby it's also serves as macro lens. And there will be cases whereby we shoot a concert. In most concerts that I've shot, there will be like certain barriers or boundaries that we can't actually go inside. With that, I always bring my next favorite lens, Sony 70-200G. This is the f4 version. Yes, I'm not using the G Master lens. The main reason is because that this is much lighter. Being an event photographer, sometimes we actually need to shoot outdoor, we need to walk a certain distance. Like recently we have shot an event whereby we actually need to walk more than 10 kilometers. I think it's really handy. I still remember during my DSLR time whereby I brought something like this with another wide lens, and it's really heavy. By the end of the day I was really exhausted. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is actually flash. And I always bring flash regardless what kind of events is this, including outdoor events. This year I almost use off-camera flash exclusively. Maybe to say that it would be like rare cases whereby I put my flash on a camera like this. I used to do this all the time last time, and I put a big diffuser on top. But nowadays I prefer to bring something like this. Every event I will bring a few of them. I will mount it on a light stand and I will bounce it off, or sometimes I put a diffuser on it, and this become a permanent fixtures on the hall itself. And I put this trigger on both of my cameras. And the main reason why I do this is the fact that most of the time when we shoot an event, the person or the performance that we shoot is always be higher than us. But most of the time if we shoot a flash right through the face, the lights will actually come from the bottom, which creates a, you know, like a horror movie types of look. I think it's not an ideal look of a person. So when I use this and I mount it on the nightstand, I can actually put it higher than speakers or the performance, so I can get a nicer looking shadows on the face of the person. And also the fact that by putting the flash somewhere else means that I make my camera much lighter. I know probably some of you guys think like, oh man, it's such a worst whereby keep complaining about the weight of the camera. But imagine if you shoot back to back. We shoot about 120 projects a year, and the thing about shooting events is that sometimes you have a high period, sometimes you have a down period, which means to say during the high period cases whereby we shoot 10 days of events back to back, which is really tiring actually. And last year I had a bit of a problem with my hand, whereby I keep holding my cameras like this. It actually gives a lot of pressure to this part of my hand. For time whereby this part of my hand is really swollen, so I actually went to doctor for that, which is kinda a hindrance to my work. And this is another handy thing about this flash on a corporate event. Sometimes they're like a networking session, so I can always remove the flash from the light stand, and I just simply mount it to a mini tripod like this, or sometimes I use Gorilla Pod, and I can simply put a diffuser on it. I can use it as a to take group photos. Another thing that I always bring during events is actually a big foldable diffuser. There will be cases whereby suddenly the boss of the companies ask me, hey, I met my client and I want to take a nice photo with him. Can you do a nice portrait for me? So I will set up this diffuser, install them in front of a backdrop or whichever branding that they have on the event itself. So I can take a nice studio-like of a portrait. One thing that I also always bring backups of backups are SD cards. After the event, we'll do 2 backups. One backup is on a hard drive and another backup on a cloud server. So I always have 2 backups of all the projects that we have done, and typically always promise clients that we will keep it for at least 1 year. And one thing that I also learned throughout the years is there will be cases whereby clients want the pictures right away, want to put updates on their social medias like LinkedIn, Facebook, whatsoever. I don't really like to give my raw photos. I will use my phone and bring up the Lightroom mobile and I will edit the photos right away. I will create a Dropbox link. So time to time, the client can actually access the photos that I've edited through my phone, and they can use it right away. Next thing is I'm going to talk about how I actually shoot the events. Typically, I will get the events breakdown before the event, so I will put it on my phone and I will set a reminder of any important segments of the events itself. An example, a VIP actually came down through the car park and we have to catch them before he or she enter the building, or they be like demonstrations done by the CEO of the company. They are launching a new product. I will put a reminder on it, so 10 minutes before it happens, actually send notifications to my smartwatch. Throughout the years, I get calmer and calmer whenever I shoot event. I don't actually rush a lot on the events and actually know how to conserve energy, so I will tend to wait for the moment rather than like take many shots. You know, many photographers like to do a burst on the shutter, whereby they just simply like burst it and probably pick a few photos out of the burst shots. I think it's a fantastic idea. I don't really do that. What I normally do, I will just wait for the moment. I started to be able to anticipate the moments before it actually happens. Although of course I wouldn't say that I can guess 100%, but there'll be most of the time I can actually tell when is the person is going to shake hand, when is this group of people are going to smile and whatsoever. Another tips that I would like to give for any new photographers that are starting to do corporate events is to be able to be part of the event. We try to be friendly with the people. I do believe doing event photography, and of course including wedding, really high pressure types of job, because you need to be constantly on your feet to be able to capture the moment. What I like is sometimes I sing along with the music that is being played on the stage. Sometimes I listen to all the funny jokes that an MC actually says. So basically I'll just try my best to enjoy the event as if I'm actually one of the guests, while at the same time taking the photos. By enjoying the events, I think it will actually make the work more enjoyable, and I do believe it will actually reflects well in my work. And one of the thing that I really love about shooting corporate photography is the fact that I learn from all the top level people that I met during the events. And one of the things that I always do on the events, if I want to take a group photo, I will actually ask them, can I get your smile? And most of the time people are actually nice enough to give me the smiles, and I can take a nice group photo of them. So that's all for today. I hope this video is useful, and if you are new in photography or you are starting your career in photography, just enjoy the journey. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you find it useful. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can check at this link here. If you want to know what my company is doing, you can actually check at this link here. See you next time and have a great day.